open your hearts, open your spirits to what you're going to hear today. Grab on to at least one idea, because if we don't start spreading the ideas, who's going to?
A guy's driving down the road. There's a construction project going on, and he sees a guy digging a ditch, and he goes, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" The guy goes, "Hello, I'm digging a ditch. What does it look like?" Drives a little further down the road, sees another guy digging a ditch, same project, same t-shirt, and goes, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" "We're building the cancer clinic." Same job, different perspective. Who do you think has a better quality of life? The guy in circumstance or the guy in vision? Who do you think has a have-to-work environment versus a want-to-work environment, right? Research will say that with vision, or those with vision or purpose, have a longer lifespan. And so while today I'm going to talk about a number of things, tied into all of it is purpose and vision. Do you live in vision or do you live in circumstance? Like, you could live in vision at home, circumstance at work. Vision at work, circumstance at home. I don't know, it's your choice. But I just want to challenge you as we go into this. If you're in circumstance, I want you to stop and think about all the ways that you have that you can impact the human condition. That will help your vision. And may you write down all the things that you're grateful for, right? Because there's only a couple things I know in life. There's a God, I'm not him, and it's really hard to be unhappy with a grateful heart, right? So like today, I'm here, I'm supposed to talk about management versus leadership and leading change. And all of those things are really woven through it. If we're going to help somebody become or navigate one of the most difficult things on the planet Earth is transformational change, we have to have those things woven in there. And I do want to also say that I don't think, I'm going to talk about management versus leadership. I don't think you're one or the other. I don't think you're hardwired, per se. Actually, I think leadership happens at every level. So when I talk about leadership, I mean everybody inside of every organization should be empowered to impact those around them. So flat organization. So now let me go on that I got you fired up and let you know I'm a blatant failure. I'm that story of somebody who started a computer company after failing in college. I went to college for 2 years, and I was focused more on getting cut from Olympic team as a speed skater. This super cute, high-maintenance girlfriend who was totally in charge of my life. She was so nice when we met. Not my GPA. I did win UW contest for Mario Brothers, Joust, and you might have heard of me, kind of a big deal, you know? So, but I realized at that juncture, if you chase 3 rabbits at once, you don't catch any of them, right? And I left. I left college. I didn't quit, because if you quit, you got to fill out paperwork. I just left. And then I spent like the next 2 years of my life trying to find myself. You know, you go through that stage. I'm just trying to find myself. You know, I'm 20 years old, trying to find myself. And I spent 2 years doing crummy jobs, mixing cement, hauling block, working in a bait shop, and then working third shift in a factory, the most disorganized factory on the planet Earth, certainly from my perspective. And there was like raw materials all around. Phase 1 production, phase 2, phase 3. The inspectors were running all over, check how things are going. And so one day, even though young, I asked my foreman if he could give me a minute of his time. And he's like, "Well, I got a minute." I should have known right then, probably not a good time to offer up a suggestion. But I just go, "Well, hey, listen, we have 2 loading docks. Neither one's designated as an indoor or an outdoor, right? Why don't we have an indoor, all the raw materials, phase 1 production, 2, 3 inspection, and an outdoor?" And he looks at me and goes, "Dude, you're not paid to think. Get back to work." You know, when you're in this vulnerable stage trying to find yourself, it was a sock in the gut, and I got choked up. And it was at that juncture, it's a crucible moment. Like, we all have these crucible moments in life that kind of destiny benders and changes. It was at that juncture I realized a self isn't something you find. The self is something you create, right? So I had to change my station in life. So I took out more student loans, went to school, got a couple business classes, couple computer classes, and again, before I finished school, came up with an idea and co-founded a computer company in a basement with loose change, and it was called You're Paid to Think. I mean, it wasn't the name of the company, but that Crucible moment changed my whole perspective on how someone should not be treated and how one needs to be respected, certainly if we're going to help people become and help build their esteem, right? And so I chose to be a very transparent CEO. And I would go to everybody, and I don't care what position you're in, hell, you have the ability to impact the human condition. Could be customers, could be colleague, could be community. If you do it right, could be generations yet unborn, but you can do that. What's our strategy? What's the changing dynamics in our industry? What's the competitive landscape? And then I'd say, you know, you're paid to think. Look, if I'm the smartest guy in this room, I'm in the wrong room. So, you know, like, I need you to tell me, what should we start, stop, think about doing? What should we start, stop, think about doing? And innovation came from everywhere in the organization. And even if somebody didn't throw out an idea, they could if they wanted to. We had, you know, zero turnover. We were consistently named the best company to work for. 26 years of consecutive growth on my watch. Named the top innovator in North America, as you heard. And people were paid to think, right? Innovation came from all levels of the organization. So I'm going to try this. I got to change this. So leading change. Now, it's interesting, in the history of our company, it was transformational. We started as a chip broker. You know, and all of a sudden, that was going to die. Component wholesaler, consolidation, that was going to die. Made PCs, consulting, services. And every one of these changes were transformational change. And I'm going to talk a little bit about transformational change today. But it's like, if we didn't change and we didn't get people to retool, overcome fear of failure, build new skill sets, we would die. And there's nothing more difficult to navigate. So this is what I want you to think about when I talk about transformational change. Imagine a scale. Organizations vary on where they are in their change mode. Now, if you're in the stability mode, and nobody's really on the extremes, well, I felt like I was on the left extreme. We're usually in the middle. But, you know, you're the Maytag repairman, right? On the one side, same thing, another day, bye, no need for change, right? And the other extreme side, on transformational change, if we don't make this change, we're probably not going to be here, and everybody's going to lose their job. Because everything we do now and everything we rested on is going to be staggeringly insignificant. What we take to market, who we sell to, whatever it is, we need to change, right? And I found something that when I was hiring people, well, let me go to this. When I was going into this mode where I'm like, we really got to change, and I'm doing interviews, I was actively involved in recruiting, right? When I was doing interviews and we really had to change, I just inherently found myself hiring people with leadership tendencies, people that were high in EQ, that had higher empathy, better communication, that helped people overcome this fear of change, right? And then after we do this huge change, then we have a couple years where we're trying to do more of the same thing better, eliminate waste, better workflow, better metrics, what have you. And as I'm doing interviews there, I find myself, you know, hiring people like, hey, this is a good candidate because she or he would have more management methodology. I found an interesting metaphor. Mountain climbers. Do you know, like, they climb up, and when they get to a position where they're holding, they call that standardization. They have 4 points of contact. They call that standardizing. And then at some juncture, you can't stay there forever. At some juncture, you have to look up, you have to reach up, You have to let go 2 of your 4 points, touch points, and you have to pull yourself up, and it requires strength. And you know what they call that? Taking a lead. Mountain climbers go, take a lead, standardize. Take a lead, standardize. Well, that's how it is in business. It certainly was for us, right? So anyway, I'm going to jump in. I got to go this way. So a little bit about management versus leadership. You're not one or the other. You can be trained to be either. If you're not measuring, you're not managing. It's paramount, right? Leadership is born, they're not made. Bull, right? All the attributes of great leaders can be taught and mentored, and I'll prove it to you in a moment, right? So over time, these are the things that I found, though. Management, duty. Hey, by the way, ditch digger, I need you here at 8 o'clock. We need 100 yards of ditch dug. I need it 4 feet wide. I need it 3 feet deep, please. Could you get on that chop, right? Purpose, leadership. Hey, you know what? I have a niece who's been battling cancer. I can't wait to get this thing open. There's an opportunity cost if we can't get this thing open. So get on it. I mean, we need 100 yards, 4 by 3, but do what you can, because we're going to impact the human condition with this one. Now, human need purpose has been in every industry since the history of man, or it wouldn't exist. People didn't feel safe keeping their money in their pillows. They kept on getting robbed. Somebody at some juncture said, we'll start a bank. We'll start a school. We'll start a hospital. We'll start a hair salon, which I could use because I look like I should be going to some sort of rehab center. Look at this. It's cumulus nimbus coiffure. We started a cobbler. We started a plumber. We started whatever. All of them served human need purpose. And every founder of every company in that industry thought that they could serve that purpose better. We'll be more economical. We'll be more exceptional. We'll be more efficient. We'll be more elegant. We'll be more empowering. Whatever it is. But in every single one of those organizations founded, every role, I don't care if you're in shipping, you can make lives better. When you go to the neighborhood barbecue and somebody says, hey, what do you do? I make lives better. Really? What is that? Work over at shipping over at Acme Corporation. Do so many things, make lives better. It's, love it, right? So duty versus purpose, right? Process, metrics versus people, IQ. When I look at when I was hiring people, when we were trying to standardize and do more of the same thing, I look for people, IQ is like your computer hardware. You're born with it. You got processing power. You've got so much RAM. Or you can work to optimize it. You can improve you can upgrade it, your processor a little bit. I read a lot. My reading retention is better. Improve my memory. You can take your IQ, improve it up to 15%. Woohoo! Right? However, people, EQ. EQ, 80% of somebody's success, both personally and professionally, comes from EQ. There's multiple attributes, and you can assess them, and you can mentor. How are you on empathy, optimism, flexibility, social responsibility, any personal relationships, assertiveness? Are you grounded in reality? And the list goes on. Every one of those things can say you're too much, too low in there, and how do we get you to the right place? Because we're going into an area of transformational change, and people aren't going to like it, and we need to love them and help them navigate this in the most tactful fashion and help them become, right? Oh, went too ahead. Do things right versus do the right thing. Right? Do things right versus do the right thing. I don't know if this is a manager or leadership thing, but I do know this. You cannot go through huge change with just being nice. You must be kind. Kindness and niceness are not synonyms, right? Like you can be super nice, the nicest person on earth, and go around and say, God, I love you, just for who you are. Affirm them. Oftentimes, nice people want a little something in return, just being loved, being liked, whatever it is, and help people, oh, she loves me for who I am, right? Wonderful. Do you know niceness, or the word nice isn't in the Bible even one time? Nice isn't in the Bible one time. Kindness tells more of the truth, has the ability to say, love you dearly, but I'm going to respectfully disagree with you, right? I'm going to challenge you to maybe, you know what? You're amazing. You can do this. It would help if maybe you'd stop, think about doing this. Skill up. Paint the picture of the desired state where people are in that future, being strategic, number one, number two at anything, and seeing how they made that path and going, God, I never thought I could do this before. Thank God we made this change, right? Somebody with EQ paints that picture of the desired state and helps them navigate it. It's not easy because when you're going through transformational change, more often than not, you're in play not to lose mode. Play not to lose. There's a big difference between play not to lose and play to win, right? Now, most people play not to lose because most people, to some degree, have fear of failure, right? I mean, we all have it at some level. We have fear of failure. And we go to the end of our comfort zone and we stop in our tracks. Don't want to look foolish. Don't know if my subordinates are going to think that I can learn this fast enough. And so I'm just going to play it safe. You know what I'll do? I'll focus on cost reduction, risk mitigation, cost reduction, risk mitigation. Doesn't fly, right? Also, people resist because they think they're going to lose something, like something of value. I might lose the baby project I started to, my team, my title, whatever it is. Play to win is about innovation, being number one, number two, and innovation is not a synonym for invention, right? Innovation, or invention is taking money and putting it in ideas. Innovation is taking an idea and turning it into a benefit, right? It could be a simple idea, tweak to policy, procedure. Let's put dog bones at the drive-through window at the bank. That's innovation, right? Anybody has the opportunity to do that. All of us have the impact to improve the human condition. And my legacy, hopefully, is to help you, help somebody in perpetuity get there, right? So who inspired you the most to become who you are? And how do the people around you look at you the way you look at that person? So let's take on that challenge, help people become and make the world a better place. Time's up. Thank you so much for listening.